On November 26, 2025, a fire erupts in Hong Kong's Tapo district, transforming an entire housing estate into a blazing inferno. By the next morning, 44 people are dead, including a firefighter who gave his life trying to save others. 62 more are hospitalized, 17 fighting for their lives. But this wasn't a natural disaster or unavoidable tragedy. This was the inevitable result of systemic failures, corruption, and a government that has abandoned its people. At 2:20 p.m., flames ignited on the bamboo scaffolding outside Wong Chung Block at Hung Fuk Court. Within minutes, powerful winds transformed a small fire into a raging storm. The scaffolding, wrapped in flammable nylon netting, became a vertical highway for flames. Within 40 minutes, the fire escalated from level 3 to level 4. By 6:22 p.m., it reached level 5, the highest emergency classification, only the second such fire since Hong Kong's 1997 handover. 7 of the estate's 8 buildings burned like torches, flames shooting over 100 meters into the sky, turning half the night sky orange red and visible from kilometers away. Residents trapped inside made desperate calls as thick black smoke filled their apartments. An elderly woman, tears streaming down her face, shouted at the scene, "Why is there only one hose? It's been hours and there's still just one hose. Why aren't there more firefighters?" She'd arrived at 3 p.m. and by 5 p.m., nothing had changed. Families escaped with nothing, no documents, no jewelry, no memories from decades of life. One resident said she couldn't even reach her family by phone and feared they'd already passed out from smoke inhalation. Another resident explained the fire didn't start at their building, but was carried by wind from the seaside building, igniting others like dominoes. He questioned why firefighters hadn't preemptively sprayed water on surrounding buildings to prevent spread, a basic containment strategy that was never deployed. Hung Fuk Court was built in 1983 as subsidized public housing for low-income families. 8 buildings, 31 floors each, housing nearly 2,000 units and about 4,643 people according to the 2021 census, with over a third being elderly residents aged 65 and above. The estate was undergoing extensive exterior wall repairs when disaster struck. All 8 buildings were surrounded by bamboo scaffolding covered in nylon netting, both highly flammable materials that turned the renovation into a death trap. For months, residents had complained about construction workers smoking on the scaffolding and carelessly tossing cigarette butts. Videos circulated online showing workers openly smoking near the flammable materials. These complaints went ignored for over a year. When the fire started, multiple factors combined lethally. The bamboo scaffolding and nylon netting created perfect fuel. The strong winds acted as an accelerant, and windows had been sealed with foam during renovations, trapping residents inside and blocking escape routes. The foam insulation also produced toxic black smoke. Industry experts noted the fire's severity was due to vertical combustion in high-rise buildings, creating a deadly chimney effect. Investigation revealed a cascade of negligence. Workers had been smoking at high altitudes and improperly disposing of cigarettes despite repeated complaints. The scaffolding used non-fire-resistant netting to cut costs. Fire-resistant netting costs about 90 Hong Kong dollars per piece versus 50 for regular netting. And while fire-resistant nets become brittle after sun exposure and can only be used once, regular nets can be reused multiple times, making them cheaper but deadly. Videos showed the fire spreading up the scaffolding in just 1 minute, with debris falling continuously as people shouted in panic. The contractor, Hangi Construction Limited, had been under Labor Department supervision since late July, yet nothing was done to address the safety violations. Hong Kong Fire Services received the alarm at 2:51 p.m. By 3:02 p.m., the fire had already reached level 3. Firefighters deployed just 2 hoses and smoke diversion teams, but flames had already penetrated the building's interiors. Just 32 minutes later, at 3:34 p.m., it escalated to level 4, spreading to nearby Wong Tai and Wong Sun blocks. Explosion sounds echoed from paint cans and gas cylinders on the scaffolding. Residents waved desperately from high-rise balconies, their cries drowned by wind. Some threw objects down to attract attention. By 4 p.m., Tabo District Community Hall opened as an emergency registration point, but by 6:30 p.m., even that had to be evacuated due to spreading fire. During the response, one senior fire officer injured his leg, another suffered heat exhaustion, and 37-year-old firefighter Hui Ho lost his life. He'd served at Sheaton Fire Station for 9 years. Miss Zhang, a 20th floor resident of Wanga Block, said she first heard fire trucks at 2:45 p.m. and smelled burning. Looking out her window, she realized the fire across the street was serious. She gathered belongings to leave but never heard a fire alarm. As she descended the stairs, personnel directed her to shelter in the estate's park. From a distance, she noticed fire at his own unit's bathroom. Mr. Lam, living on the 30th floor of Wang Kim Block, recalled smelling strong smoke around 3 p.m., then hearing bamboo scaffolding exploding. Opening his door, the hallway was filled with smoke. He couldn't see anything and had to escape immediately. He never heard the fire alarm go off, not even once. Though his building was separated from the origin by 2 other buildings, within just 20 minutes the fire reached him. Having lived in Hung Fa Court for over 40 years without experiencing fire, he was terrified. He grabbed only his wallet and phone, nearly forgetting his glasses. The building's fire alarms failed completely throughout the incident. Residents could only rely on their sense of smell and neighbors shouting warnings. This was a critical failure that cost lives. On June 14th, a management committee meeting denied owners' observation requests, operating in secrecy. Despite fierce opposition, repair work was forced to begin in July. On July 5th, over 5% of owners signed a petition demanding a special meeting to remove the corporation's chairman, but faced obstruction from both authorities and the corporation. On September 6th, after relentless effort, owners successfully convened a meeting where the majority voted to dismiss the corporation, but repairs had already started. The project, managed by the Hong Kong Federation of Trade Unions Fujian faction, used pro-China contractors who cut corners with substandard materials. Online reports suggested the $330 million project was mired in corruption. Mainland Chinese construction workers now dominate Hong Kong sites because they're paid half what local workers earn, about 1,000 Hong Kong dollars daily versus 2,000 for locals. These mainland workers, particularly in construction, are known for being habitual smokers who carelessly discard cigarette butts. The Labor Department knew about safety issues but did nothing. Current safety regulations don't mandate fire resistance standards for scaffolding nets. The department claimed the repair work didn't involve hot work or flammable materials, so fire risk was considered low, a catastrophic miscalculation. The Buildings Department, Labor Department, and Fire Services Department all failed, each shifting blame. Residents' complaints went unheard for years. The chief executive and senior officials have long neglected their duties, subordinating public safety to political stability. A responsibility vacuum exists where no department takes ownership. This represents the complete replacement of Hong Kong's previously efficient accountability mechanisms with a mainlandization model focused only on political control. Public fury has focused squarely on Chief Executive John Lee Ka-chiu, who must take political responsibility for dual failures in firefighting and regulation. Online commentary has been scathing. After the National Security Law's Article 21 passed, Hong Kong's status as the Pearl of the East has dimmed. What remains is dictatorship and disaster everywhere. Most capable and wealthy people have left Hong Kong. While not everyone remaining is incompetent, the overall standard has dropped sharply, an undeniable fact. National security overrides everything else. Human lives have become worthless. The Hung Fa Court fire represents the culmination of 28 years of governance incompetence since Hong Kong's handover. This fire destroyed not just 7 buildings, but also the last shred of confidence that Hong Kong residents had in their leaders. If the loss of dozens of precious lives doesn't prompt reflection from the government, Hong Kong's future will only grow darker. This wasn't about bad luck or unforeseeable circumstances. 44 people died because the system designed to protect them had completely collapsed. For the victims, their families, and the hundreds who lost everything, no amount of investigation or blame will bring back what was taken. This tragedy poses an existential question. Can a city survive when its government no longer serves its people? The answer, written in smoke and ash across the Tapo skyline, appears increasingly clear.